Hey guys, welcome back to the Simple Ground Homestead. I'm out here in kind of a little bit more of a rushed situation. Standing out here in my wheat field, which is more of a wheat patch. I think it's about 6 feet by 12 feet, might be a little more than that. And the situation is the wheat is almost ripe. It kind of goes through a drying stage in the head, and there's a certain moisture content that makes it just right. And these seeds or kernels, are just a little green still, but it's very close. And we've got 3 wet days in a row coming up. They're coming up faster than I expected, and if this amount of rain falls on these heads at this point or this stage, I've got a situation where, I could get a bunch of a host of possibilities of funguses or molds or mildews that can grow on the head. So my purpose right now is to hurry along and try to harvest this quickly and get it bundled up and hung up under the eaves, and hopefully it can continue to ripen there in that spot. I wish my tools were sharp and ready, but they're not, so I'm just going to be using some pruners. I wish my camera was charged up and ready to go, but it's not, so I'm using my phone. It's a case of just hurry up and get it done, right? source. So my wheat production is another one of my experiments. My purpose is to kind of see what it would actually take for me, where I live, to have a small-scale wheat production. It's kind of an interesting thing to be up against because really wheat is inexpensive compared to the labor it takes and the amount of space it takes to grow. I've also had the trouble of finding wheat that grows in this particular climate. It's kind of wet, it's kind of cold, so I have to find a wheat variety that can stand up to that. I'm growing Maris Widgeon wheat, and it seems to be doing all right, even though this last year production was kind of small for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure. Threshing and winnowing did take a fair amount of work. It's not entirely unheard of, but if I were to be trying to process, 100 pounds of wheat, I'd probably need a setup that was a little more automated than what I've got currently. I am not intending to eat any of this crop, this harvest. It's just, I want to see how much I can grow and how much it'll expand and how much how much space I'd actually need to provide for my family. And I'm a little bit disheartened so far. My roughly 6 by 12 foot patch only brought out somewhere around 3.5 pounds of wheat. It wasn't optimal spacing. I could have gotten a lot more plants in that space, and so I don't think that it's a yield that would be common. And even with the reduced yield, I did get enough to double the space. So I've planted roughly twice as much as I had before. It's somewhere around 200 square feet now that I've been able to replant. I'm definitely not doing anything sophisticated. I just try to create a nice seed bed. I've spread it out on this rototilled ground, and I've used a rake to kind of get it down an inch and a half depth. Hopefully it keeps it out of the out of the mouths of the birds, and lets it get a leg up. I'm planting it now because it's between rainstorms in October. This being winter wheat, the rain has moistened the soil enough to get it to germinate. I'm going to have a sunny day or two to warm the soil and get it, sprouting. And then another wave of rain will come through and keep it moist. And it should spring up. It'll die off and go dormant during the winter time and come back full force in the spring. So that's kind of my plan here. It's been a fun experiment. It really goes to show what it takes to grow wheat, especially. Different plants yield very differently, and wheat's one of those that I just really appreciate. I love all my breads and other bread-like foods, and if I were to try to be self-sustaining and produce my own food, I would have to eat a lot less grain or figure out a way to grow more wheat. I'm also looking into other grains too, but I haven't started any of the experiments yet. I wouldn't be surprised if oats and probably barley would grow out here. I'm starting with the wheat, and so far it's been a fun experiment, and we'll see what all of this brings for next year. Thanks everybody for watching these videos. I really appreciate all of you sticking with me. Definitely not fitting the model of frequent video production, but being able to share what I do with all of you is kind of what I'm hoping for out of this channel, and it just happens to come when it comes. Anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. The world definitely has its crazy things, and hopefully a little bit of homesteading levels out the crazy, brings a little peace to your life. Hope all is doing well, and until next time, thanks for taking this journey with me on Simple Ground.